Have you ever heard somebody use the term natural to describe somebody's talent? You know what I mean? Like maybe a guy that's never picked up a guitar before in his life. You know, he picks up a guitar. He doesn't know how to read music. He doesn't know anything about band. But he picks up the guitar and just starts strumming it. And it sounds damn good. You know, and everybody looks at him and they just say, "You are a natural. You're naturally good at it." That's the exact approach that everybody, male or female, should take when they're dating, when they're meeting new people, you know, in relationships. You should be letting it happen naturally. Being yourself, which is what you are naturally good at. The problem is there's a lot of guys that are absorbing a lot of knowledge from pickup artists, game, red pill, and all this stuff. They're absorbing all this knowledge, and it's turning them into a faker, basically. You know, you can learn certain techniques or, you know, certain systems or strategies that will help you get laid. You can definitely do that, you know. If you cold approach 10 women, you're much more likely to get laid than if you cold approach 0 women, right? That's just a fact. But getting laid isn't going to make a man happy. It'll make you happy for about a half an hour. Once you're done doing that, man, it's over with. You know, that happiness goes away when you finish the act. It's not like you're going to sit back at the end of, you know, a 3-year run of sleeping with a lot of women and be like, wow, you know, I really did something there, man. You know, there's no trophy. There's no trophy for sleeping with 100 women or 1,000 women. Nothing. It's just a waste of time. But when you have the balls and the self-confidence, of course, the fucking helicopter. I'm like on the outskirts of town. Oh, it's a fucking airplane. Whatever the hell it is. And just out of nowhere, a freaking airplane flies over me. But if you have the self-confidence to actually be yourself around people, what you have to understand is the results that you're getting are the results you're supposed to get. So if you're just being yourself and a woman doesn't find you attractive, she doesn't want to build a connection with you, that's okay. Because half of the battle is eliminating the women who are not good prospects for you. The other half of the battle is building connections with women who are good prospects for you. And if you're afraid to unapologetically be yourself, then you'll never figure out which women's aren't for you. Because you're faking it to make women who aren't good for you actually like you. That's not what you want to do. You know, that's essentially forcing the issue. No man should force the issue under any circumstance. When you build a meaningful connection with a woman, you know, I learned my biggest piece of education about women, and just because men and women are different, but the most educational moment I've had in my life about women was when my aunt's husband got cancer. So he got cancer in the back of his head. They gave him a surgery and, you know, all that, and he ended up surviving. But about 7 years later, it came back and it was in the front of his head, and it was like the size of a golf ball. And, you know, if you were to ask a lot of red pill or black pill or like MGTOW guys what women do in those situations, they'll literally tell you like, oh, if you're sick, they won't consider you. If you're sick, you know, women will leave you because you're no longer productive. But that's only because they never let it happen naturally and built a real meaningful connection with the other person. You know, but my aunt, when she got the news, we all got the news that her husband was, there was really nothing they could do. He had maximum of probably 12 months to live. She dedicated her whole life every morning to getting up and cooking something that was like non-carcinogenic and wouldn't promote cancer growth, and just did everything that she could possibly do to either try to help him get better or, help his life be at least comfortable in his remaining days. But you could see it on her. It was hurting her worse than it was hurting him. And that's because they had a meaningful connection. And I know a lot of you guys out there, your main focus is getting a girl, turning a girl on, impressing a girl, getting laid, and stuff like that. But there's a lot more to life than that, man. A lot more. And the reason why I've been changing my tone lately and discussing this sort of issue is because I don't know if you guys are paying attention, but I hope you are. And I hope you're getting prepared. The shit is hitting the fan. Worldwide. My whole entire life, there's always been pressure and drama. There's always been crazy shit going on. Wars in the Middle East, different, terror attacks and gang violence and murders and, movie theater shootings, all sorts of crazy stuff. It's like every day you wake up to something. There's always some sort of drama. They're always stirring up the pot. And it's like, who's controlling these situations? Who's in charge? What are they doing? Why are they doing it? Why are we always going through these traumas? And since 2020, everybody kind of knows it's changing. Like, everything is changing. And even the mainstream networks, I'm talking, not necessarily mainstream, but like the larger independent media sources, the Tim Pools, the Joe Rogans, those kind of guys. They're all even covering this now. So, it's not just, goofy conspiracy theorists on YouTube and shit, but we're looking at supply chain shortages. We're about to experience, a time period when you may not be able to go to the store to get your groceries. There may not be cereal at the grocery store. It might be gone, just maybe not forever, but we may experience some serious supply chain shortages, and life isn't going to be easy. Jobs are going away. They were going away before 2020. There was just slow and steady. It was a decline, a slow, steady decline. But now it just like, boom, like everything's disappearing rapidly. There's a lot of people that aren't really paying attention. A lot of lemmings out there that aren't really aware or hip to what's going on. But the shit is hitting the fan. And rather than worrying about your own selfish needs and practicing narcissism, healthy narcissism, and making yourself the focal point of your life, it's probably a good time to learn skills, learn how to be a man, be prepared, but build meaningful connections with people. And that's not just a woman, and if you're a woman, it's not just a man, it's not just, a significant other. It's also friends, networks, people that live within 10 miles from you. Are you networking? Are you meeting people that are going to be there to help you when the shit really hits the fan? If you're somebody that truly believes that we live in such a perfect world that the shit will never hit the fan, there will never be a day when you don't have McDonald's and you don't have food at the grocery store and you don't have 2-day Amazon Prime delivery. But that day is not very far away, man. All it takes is a truck driver strike, for 2 weeks or so, and everything's shut down. All it takes is manufacturing plants to shut down for X amount of time. And we've seen a lot of plants shutting down over the course of the last decade, and in the last 2 years, a lot more. Um, we're going to look at shortages. That's probably the biggest issue that we're going to be looking at. I'm not even going to get into all the COVID and, medical stuff that's going on, because YouTube doesn't really let me talk about that. But, that's another issue that we're looking at, and everybody knows what I'm talking about. There's always the political stuff going on. And it's been absolutely upside down. It's been a warped reality over the course of the last 2 years. It's unreal. Like, the amount of changes that we've seen since, like, 2019 to 2021, it's like, it's hard to even, like, it's almost like it's a dream. It's like, what the hell is even going on? But it's also sort of a test of strength, separating the men from the boys, so to say, because when we go through these hard times, you see certain people lose their heads, they panic, they freak out, they don't know what to do, they can't control themselves. And then you see other guys who, they're cool, they're calm, they're collected, they're prepared. That's because they go with the flow and they let it happen naturally. And they're prepared to take on whatever comes their way. They're not putting on an act. When you put on an act and you build everything and you structure everything a certain way, as soon as something comes along to disrupt it, your plan's gone. As Mike Tyson said, everybody's got a plan until they get punched in the mouth. When you get punched in the mouth, that's when you have the opportunity to separate the men from the boys. But anyways, I guess I'm just ranting at this point. But the key that I want everybody to take from this video, from this conversation, if you're one of those people that watches these videos and you feel like you get some value out of them, I want you to understand that there's nothing wrong with being yourself, even if being yourself doesn't get you the same results that some other guy gets when he's being himself. That's okay. You don't have to be ashamed of that. There's nothing wrong with being yourself and failing. Be unapologetic. Be proud of who you are. Not to an extent where you're narcissistic, where you're self-righteous, think you're better than everybody, but just to a point where you're secure with who you are. You're not embarrassed to be yourself, with all of your flaws, all of your strengths, all of your weaknesses. Be yourself and let it happen naturally. That's the only way you're ever going to develop those true, meaningful connections that actually matter. Because in one way or another, the shit's always going to hit the fan, And if you don't have that team full of, it might be a small circle, but if you got a team full of loyal people that are there for you, you're going to be okay, When the shit hits the fan, would you rather have 5 hoes that you gamed and seduced? Or would you rather have one high-quality woman that's got your back? Even if those five hoes are 10 out of 10s in looks. At the end of the day, they don't offer you anything because they don't have that true connection with you. That one woman that you have a connection with, she might be a 6 in looks, I don't know. But she's got your back. And that's way more important than anything that can happen in the bedroom, So anyways, I hope you guys found some value out of this video. And if you did, be sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel. That's about it for today, guys. Until next time, see ya.